I asked the 5 biggest AIs in the world to pick the best game ever for each category. Everyone usually argues what the best video game is of all time for each category, but today we're feeling kind of peaceful. Let's let the AI decide.
That's a lot of clankers.
So here's the plan. I gave each AI the exact same prompt, which you can see right here. They each cast their vote. The game with the most votes in a category takes the crown. I'll roast each winner because someone's got to do it. And if there's a tie, I get to pick the winner myself. And then you guys get to roast me for my terrible taste. 8 categories, 5 AIs, and 1 me. Let's do this. And first up is story and narrative. Some games are just fun to play, but the story, that's what sticks with you forever. The characters, the emotions, the twists, those are the moments that make a game unforgettable. Like when a cutscene hits harder than a movie, you know it's special. A good narrative doesn't just entertain you, it makes you feel. Personally, I've gotta say before your eyes, that game left me shattered. Man, I finished it and just sat there like, yep, this is what therapy is gonna be about next week. First up, Grok AI voted for The Last of Us Part 2, and honestly, you can see why. That game is famous for its storytelling. It's dark, it's brutal, but it really drives home that idea that there aren't just good guys and bad guys, only people making choices. Next up, we have ChatGPT, which went for Last of Us Part 1. Seeing a bit of a pattern here. Joel and Ellie's journey is simple compared to Part 2, but that's what makes it timeless. Watching their relationship grow, seeing Joel heal after losing Sarah. It's emotional, it's hopeful, and it's one of those stories people keep going back to again and again and again and again. Then we've got Google Gemini, which threw in Red Dead Redemption 2. And yeah, that's a heavy hitter. The characters are some of the best written in gaming. Arthur Morgan's story is powerful, full of highs and lows. So yeah, 3 votes, 3 different story games, which means the decision really comes down to LeChat and DeepSeek. LeChat went with Last of Us Part 2, while DeepSeek sided with Last of Us Part 1. So the battle is officially set, Part 1 versus Part 2. I can't believe there's already a tie. I just kind of came up with the tie rule that I will decide if it becomes, you know, a 2-2 or if everything's just like all 5 of them pick 1. But I'm a bit frustrated at the first one that we do is a tie. But yeah, I'm going to go with Last of Us Part 1. It seems to be less people give out about Last of Us Part 1 than Part 2. Next up, we're diving into shooters. The FPS world. Nothing quite beats the tactical adrenaline of these games. The tension of peeking a corner. The rush of a perfect headshot like... absolute cinema. For me, it's definitely got to be MW2, Halo 3, and Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, Reese. Oh, you're just better.
MW2 gave us that iconic campaign, and honestly, it raised my generation. Just sitting in that post menu, waiting for the next match, and just hearing so much of the kindest words I've ever had in my online experience. My ears still bleed to this day.
And then suck my dick.
Halo 3 I love because of the Forge mat, getting invites to random custom games from creations that I just don't even understand. I feel like the same emotions from Geometry Dash that even the creator has no clue how some people create certain maps. Rainbow Six Siege, definitely tactical shooters at its absolute best. The kind where strategy matters as much as it does with aim.
Big, it's just a clash left now.
First up, Grok went with Doom Eternal. Not a bad shout at all. Doom Eternal is just chaos cranked to 11. It's so fast and brutal, if you stop moving for even half a second, you're dead. It's the kind of game that makes your hands sweat and your brain feel like it's running at 200 miles an hour. Just picture knocking back 20 monsters in a minute. That's Doom Eternal. Next up is ChatGPT, and they went with Doom 2016. I swear if we get another tie here. Next we have LeChat and Google Gemini voting for Doom Eternal. So thankfully, no tie this time. And then for the last vote, we have DeepSeek voting for Half-Life 2. Which, to be fair, is a power move. Half-Life 2 is like the godfather of modern-day shooters. That gravity gun and the way it told a story without holding your hand. Even now, devs are still copying that formula. But anyways, the AI decided that Doom Eternal was the best FPS game. Platformers. Platformers are those games where movement and precision are the name of the game. Running, jumping, climbing. Basically, if you ever wanted to rage at a pixel-wide ledge, you've played a platformer. From the old school classics like Mario and Sonic, to modern masterpieces like Celeste or Ori and the Blind Forest. Platformers are basically the purest test of timing and skill in gaming. It's just you, the controls, and your patience, or lack of it. But no matter what any of the AI choose, we all know that Hollow Knight is the best platformer of all time. Like, Silksong was the most wishlist game on Steam, and yeah, I'm definitely not coping. I even have it tattooed on my body, and yes, I am mentioning it because a certain person, yes, I'm staring at you, always says that every time I talk about Hollow Knight, I point at this tattoo. Look, I like it. First up, we have Grok AI voting for Celeste. Absolute W pick. I love this game. I played this entire junky fuel platformer from start to finish, just riding the chaos, how fast-paced and precise it is. And then it hits you out of nowhere. This thoughtful, emotional story about struggle, anxiety, and pushing through. It's one of those games that make you feel proud when you finish it. Like, you're not just good at platformers, you've achieved something spiritual. 10 out of 10, no notes. Next up, we have ChatGPT with the right answer, voting for Hollow Knight. And don't worry, I'll not rant about Hollow Knight again. But yeah, W pick, good taste. ChatGPT, good taste. Then we have LeChat and Google Gemini voting for Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, fair. You throw a hat on literally anything and you become it. That frog, that taxi, that random power line, boom, you're Mario now. And it all just works. And lastly, we have DeepSeek picking Super Mario Bros. 3. Not one I saw coming, honestly. Like, if you asked me to guess which Mario game would pop up, I'd have said Super Mario 64 or maybe Galaxy 1 or 2. But nope, the AIs have spoken and the crown for the best platform goes to Super Mario Odyssey. Role-playing games. The genre where 1 minute you're handed the opportunity of a lifetime. The main quest to save the entire world. But for some reason, you decide to spend 12 in-game hours organizing your home library with books you stole from random dungeons and carefully choosing the perfect spouse. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just describing my Skyrim playthrough. Don't judge me. Anyways, RPGs or role-playing games are basically the ultimate live another life genre. They're the games where you build a character.
You. I've seen you. Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams. Gods give me strength.
Shape their story and make choices that can totally change your experience. If it was up to me, I would choose either Elden Ring or Bloodborne. Both From Software masterpieces. And yeah, I know, I have a type. If it's punishing, dark, and makes me want to pull my hair out every minute after dying for the 100th time to the same boss. Like this fire giant, you don't know how many times I died. Just to the most stupidest thing, not getting hit for the entire boss fight, and then just one hit or one tumble, and I'm gone. Beautiful, that's why I love Elden Ring. So yeah, if they have any of them factors, it's probably my favorite RPG. First up, we have Grok AI with The Witcher 3. And actually, hold on, it's not just Grok. ChatGPT, LeChat, and even DeepSeek all voted for Witcher 3 too. Witcher 3 is peak RPG. The world feels alive, the characters are incredible, and Geralt, it's just Geralt.
Huh?
1 minute you're hunting monsters, the next you're deep in some morally grey side quest that makes you question every choice you've made in life. Then we've got Google Gemini voting for Baldur's Gate 3. And look, this game is an absolute masterpiece. Deep story, crazy amount of freedom, and companions that actually feel human. But let's be real here. Everyone says they play Baldur's Gate 3 for the story, for the choices, for the true role-playing experience, but you're all lying. Every single one of you. You're playing it like it's a dating sim, carefully picking dialogue options, gifting your companions, and saving scum just to make sure they don't hate you. So yeah, it's not just an RPG, it's secretly the greatest fantasy romance game ever made. Don't even try to deny it. So yeah, first time we're seeing these AIs actually agree, with 80% of them going for Witcher 3. So Witcher 3 will be the best RPG game according to the AIs. Alright, now let's talk about open world games, where freedom means you can go anywhere, do anything, and probably get completely distracted for 8 hours straight. Some of the earliest entries include Ultima 1, The First Age of Darkness, that came out in 1981. A legit open world RPG where you could roam freely and tackle optional quests in any order. And then there was Hydlide, that came out in 1984, and The Legend of Zelda, that came out in 1986. Both praised for giving players space to explore instead of herding you down a corridor. First up, we got Grok AI voting for Red Dead Redemption 2. Then ChatGPT with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is simply one of the best Zelda games I've ever played. From the shrines, open world exploration, even every single of the 900 Korok seeds. Exploration wasn't just encouraged, it was the whole point. Then we got LeChat backs Red Dead 2 as well, and Google Gemini side with Breath of the Wild. And now for the last AI to decide the winner of best open world game. Drum roll please. It's DeepSeek with Skyrim. Oh, for fuck's sake. Don't get me wrong, Skyrim is iconic, but come on, every time we think we've moved on, it just finds a way to sneak back into the conversation, like Todd Howard is standing over my shoulder whispering, "Buy it again." So that means we're stuck in a tie between Breath of the Wild versus Red Dead 2, the Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi of open world games. But for me, my vote goes to Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, after recording my last video, what is the best video game of all time, I did the research, which you should totally check out, by the way. I got so many heartwarming comments about Red Dead 2 and why it was peak gaming that I went back and played it myself. My first playthrough, I was back in college and only got to Act 4, and now I'm replaying it. I'm about 10 hours in, just about to hit Act 3, and it actually has been quite peak so far. Now, enough about cowboys. We got 3 categories left, and now for category 6, fighting games. The genre built entirely on bragging rights and broken friendships. Fighting games are simple on the surface. 2 characters, 1 stage, and a health bar to empty. But once you get into it, there's some of the most competitive, high-skill, controller-smashing moments of gaming. A moment I always think about in fighting games is a recent tournament from EVO 2025. Pro gamer Kojikog was in the winner's semi-final against Geo1. Everything's on the line. The loser puffs off, the crowd goes wild. But Kojikog, he absolutely melts down on stage. I feel for the winner, Geo1. How do you celebrate this without stealing the show from that meltdown? It turned into arguably one of the most talked about losses in fighting game history, or in competitive game history. But anyways, before we get to the AI picks, what will you guys pick as your favorite fighting game? This is the only category that confuses me a little bit because I don't have as much knowledge compared to the rest. And if it was up to me, I would pick either Mortal Kombat 9 or Multiverses. First up, Grok AI and ChatGPT both went with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash is just pure chaos in the best way possible. It's a party game, it's a competitive fighter, and it's a meme generator. It's everything at once. You can go from Pikachu electrifying Mario to Sephiroth launching Steve from Minecraft off the stage. No matter who you are, there's a fighter for you. Next, the Chat and Google Gemini are both backing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Third Strike is one of those games that feels like the purest definition of fighting games. Tight mechanics and super skill based. It's the kind of game that will humble you. You think you're good, step into Third Strike and get absolutely destroyed. And finally, DeepSeek went old school with Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior. This is the game that blew the doors wide open for fighting games. Arcades were packed, rivalries were born, and suddenly everyone was talking about combos, special moves, and tournaments. Sure, it feels clunky compared to today's fighters, but back in the early 90s, this was the blueprint. Street Fighter 2 walks so the rest of the fighting games could run. So looking at the votes, technically Street Fighter comes out on top. Even though the AI split between Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, and Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, that still adds up to 3 votes total. So I'm giving the crown to Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Alright, moving on to sports games. A genre that somehow manages to ruin friendships just as much as fighting games do.
Causing me so many issues. Did he just get a pen? I didn't press anything. Did the game just give him a pen? I didn't do anything. I literally did nothing.
Sports games are simple. Football, basketball, racing, whatever it is. But they've been some of the biggest sellers in gaming history. Every year, millions of us buy what is the same game with updated rosters, and we still fall for it. I used to be heavily addicted to FIFA, like proper addicted. I used to spend all of my savings just to build the best team in Ultimate Team, just to be scored on last minute against a random enemy at 3 AM, and then I would scream. The parents loved that trick. Thankfully, I stopped after FIFA 16 and I never looked back. Honestly, it was the healthiest decision of my life. First up, we have Grok AI, ChatGPT, and LeChat all went with FIFA 23. I am surprised AIs all picked FIFA 23 specifically. I would have assumed FIFA peaked during FIFA 12 to 14. Then we've got Google Gemini and DeepSeek both voting for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Now, this is epic.
Tony Hawk wasn't just a sports game, it was a cultural moment. The soundtrack alone boosts such nostalgia into our young hearts. Kick-flipping off a school roof to rage against a machine while pulling off combos that made zero sense physically. That was childhood. Tony Hawk might not have the same yearly dominance as FIFA, but quality will always defeat quantity. But there we have it, sports winner pick by the AI goes to FIFA 23. I honestly feel disgusted seeing it crowned as the winner. Worst pick so far. And finally, we've made it to horror games, the genre designed to make you regret turning off the lights. Horror games are all about tension, atmosphere, and that creeping feeling that something is waiting around the corner. They'll test your nerves just as much as your reflex. Think Resident Evil with its survival horror roots, Silent Hill twisting your brain with psychological terror, or newest titles like Outlast that just throw you into pure panic mode. Whether it's jump scares, resource management, or stories that make your skin crawl. Horror games are built to keep you uncomfortable in the best way possible. Now for my picks in horror games, I'm either going to be picking the Resident Evil series, Outlast, or some of the Puppet Combo games. Y'all probably know Puppet Combo from Murder House. I know Jacksepticeye was in the game.
It's even my face.
But honestly, you should check out more of them. There's like the Knights of the Gates of Hell, there's a one with the nurse, and there's many, many more. Peak games. No, stop it here. Generally, peak games. Y'all need to try them. Puppet Combo. I mean to make a whole video about that. Just go check them out, please. Please. Outlast had me hiding under beds, hiding in lockers, and once I got that jump scare, it made me want to turn off or uninstall the game immediately. What was great about it is you just got given a camera recorder where you had to really focus on the battery life. So it meant any enemy you couldn't fight back. You had to run, you had to hide, you had to lose them. That was the only option. So yeah, if you haven't picked up Outlast, there's a few of them now, but the first one, chef's kiss. First up, we've got Grok AI and LeChat both voting for Resident Evil 4 Remake. The original Resident Evil 4 already changed the entire genre back in 2005, and the remake somehow managed to feel fresh while keeping everything that made it legendary. Which is mad, as it won Game of the Year in 2005, and it could have nearly won it in the remake in 2023. Would have been one of the only games to have won it twice. Then ChatGPT threw in Resident Evil 2 Remake, another banger. Creeping through the Raccoon City Police Department, Mr. X stalking you, and the way the remake modernized those old tank patrols without losing the tension. Finally, Google Gemini and DeepSeek both sided with Silent Hill 2. Now this one is a classic for a reason. It's not just about monsters jumping at you, it's psychological horror at its finest. The story digs at the grief, guilt, and trauma in a way that still hits hard today. So that gives us 2 votes for Resident Evil 4 Remake, 2 votes for Silent Hill 2, and 1 vote for Resident Evil 2 Remake, which means we've got a tie. Using the methodology of the voting in fighting games, we will pick Resi 4 Remake as AI's best horror game. Our 8 video game categories are complete. If you've enjoyed this video, check this one out as well. And thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one.